What, what I find is that to really make that happen, one, we will have to work, of course, at the company level, but also at the industry level. The single biggest factor that can change this is education and the need to work with the education sector for the industry. Today, 25% of the engineers are suitable for the IT industry and 75% are not. As the need for people increases, and for BPO sector it's just 10%, while this may be better than the percentage in China, nevertheless, we need to increase this percentage to be able to meet the need for the growth. And that is where we would certainly not like to compromise on the quality of engineers that come into the company, and therefore the need to enhance the quality of education by industry getting engaged very actively and working with the education sector, which of course NASSCOM has made several initiatives. I will not go into them, but this is, and at the individual company level, we have found at Hexaware that the training makes a very material impact in the efficiencies. Second is innovation. India is known for lower cost, high quality, technology, an important investment. It can go a very long way in changing the way we work. We also find that the average time required to achieve stable operations in a project is expected to be reduced from time to time by the clients, and that also makes it very important for us to enhance our operational efficiency. And the last point I would like to make is from operating just having offshore centers in India, many of us are going to different countries and running the centers there, and we have a number of countries that Indian companies have already started, China and East Europe, and Hexaware has started in Mexico. So it is very important to have institutionalized processes so that it is not dependent only on a very talented pool of a few bright engineers here in India, but we should be able to take and have and achieve the same indices operating in different countries and have the same level of client expectation achievement. So clearly the need for operational excellence is very high, and I very much believe this is about raising the bar further. Not that we are not efficient today, but clearly we need to raise this bar beyond where we have been operating at the moment. Thank you.
Thanks, Atul. I don't know who's the candle and the sun in this. We talk about it, you guys do it. I'd like to turn to Anando. Anando is known as Mr. 50. This is not 50% labor arbitrage. This is 50 times oversubscribed. So firstly, congratulations on a fantastic trip. And would you like to comment on operational excellence as you see it from the eyes of one of the leading third-party providers?
Thank you, Naushad. I must thank McKinsey for this study, because what we're going to do from this study is to select the parts which suits us and present that to prospective customers and very conveniently ignore the rest of the study. In this, we're going to learn from the investment banks. Every investment bank who comes and presents to us is always at the top of the league table, and I've never been able to figure out how they manage it. So it's something I'm going to draw on them and present that. But jokes about, I think some of the counterintuitive conclusions which McKinsey study presents, I think is at least as far as the BPO industry is concerned, I believe is a function of the fact that this industry is growing at exponential rates at this point in time. It's not that we don't have processes. It's the fact that the processes have to keep up with the growth in the industry. So when you're creating a new company every 1 year or 1.5 years, your process which was relevant a year back is no longer relevant a year later, and you need to be able to constantly be catching up. The second factor which comes in is that the definition of quality itself is constantly changing. What was acceptable quality to a customer a year back is no longer acceptable quality today. And the fundamental shift which I see happening out there is people are moving away from the mean as a measurement to really a variability as a measurement. That our customers don't really experience the average of the performance. They experience the worst of the performance. So the whole focus is going towards how tightly do you manage the operations, and how tightly is the control systems around that. I mean, I won't spend too much time on what the McKinsey study is. I think there clearly are important points for us to take on board. But I think the overall operational excellence framework deployment, in our experience, requires three things, and I just want to spend a couple of minutes talking about it. I think, first of all, it requires a culture building in the company. And here, there are 2 or 3 points I want to make. One is it has to start at the top. The CEO has to be directly involved in operational excellence initiative. It cannot be left to a team of people who does it. The fundamental cultural shift one has to bring about in the organization is to move people towards data and move them away from the gut feel. Do not accept anybody who comes and tells you that their data is not available, that the legacy systems don't allow you to give information, your customers don't give you access to systems, it takes manual processes, and we are waiting for the mother of all data warehousing solution after which everything is going to get solved. Data is available. One has to be able to measure every process, the health of every process accurately. I think that is the fundamental mindshift change has to happen. And this is something which requires a lot of effort, a lot of training at the grassroots level to get people at the agent level to start using data. And there is no shortcut to it. This requires sustained effort over a long period of time to make it happen. The second element is process centricity, and to make sure that everything you do has to have standardized processes. And this is where the challenge which I mentioned about is that as the organization, as the industry grows at the pace it has, the standardization of processes becomes very, very, very important. And one small point on this, I think one has to be able to address the culture which we face in our organization, and I'm sure a lot of our peers do, is the not invented here culture, which is, everybody wants to reinvent the same thing over and over again, whereas 90% of all issues which you face have actually already been solved elsewhere in the company. The third leg to operational excellence, I think, is value addition. And here, we spend a lot of effort on process improvements and how do we improve processes, but the real question is what you're doing relevant to the customer? Are you being able to direct your process improvement initiatives along dimensions which are important for the customer? What we keep saying is, is the ship is sinking, but we are doing a Six Sigma job in cleaning the deck. Is that what we are doing? Or are we trying to orient our process excellence initiative into dimensions which the customer wants? And here, I think the important thing is the use of a very, very formal voice of customer process and a regular review with understanding what is the customer saying about what you're doing and what is important to the customer. Now, this is a challenge. I mean, there are customers who actually don't want to do it. They say that, that things are going fine. I really don't want to spend time and do that. But I would say beware of a customer who does not do this with you. Because if somebody considers you a strategic partner, they will invest in the time to do it. If a customer is not doing it, that customer is probably not going to be there with you for very long. Thank you.
Thank you, Anando. I think actually I would, in the interest of time, Vivek and I didn't share with you the full findings, but one of the things we definitely found is this point that Ananda talked about, which is we often have solved it in our own company somewhere. We call that phenomena islands of excellence. We see them rampant across the board. Most of our companies have seen this. It's not that we, in general, the average hides a lot. Most of the time, we've found that the answers on the practices are actually already been solved by the centers, but they are at the operating team level. They haven't been institutionalized. Okay. I'll move over to the final panel participant, Deepak. Deepak, for many years has has been with us on these panels and is never afraid to speak his mind. And as a die-hard Mumbaiite also, Deepak, would you like to comment on Mumbai being classified as low cost?